Greetings and happy 2021. We are still in January, the beginning of the year. Welcome to Gigi, Being and Living Network. Right. How do you want this year to turn out for you? So today, I'm going to explain to you how the Brunner theory of learning mathematics can help you plan a successful year or 2021. Right. Before I start talking about this year, I'd like to share with you my experiences of last year. Well, shortly after the year began, 2020, around February, March, in London, the pandemic set in, and most places in Europe before it spread to other parts of the world. And because of this pandemic, a lot of things changed, there was the lockdown, offices being closed. So it did affect me, unfortunately, in some way. For example, there was an institution that I made plans, to be part of. I really worked hard, did the necessary things required, studied, prepared for it. And everything was going well as I was successful in the first stage, successful in the second stage, and towards the final stage, well, things really changed. The people that were in charge of things, administration, were no longer in their offices, working from home, and all those things that were displaced. So what happened is, towards when I got in contact with this institution about me and what I have been planning to do with them, they said to me, "Oh, I'm sorry, we cannot trace your exam and interview script." And I couldn't believe it, and I thought to myself, this cannot be happening. This cannot be happening to me, because I remembered the commitment I put into it, the work I put in. I really worked hard. Losing the placement really did upset me. However, I found a way to let that go so that I will give room for other things to happen for me. And again, I had to encourage myself, knowing that there are people who were in far worse situation than mine, and some of them did not even survive the pandemic. So the reason I am sharing my experience with you is in case if you have experienced your lows, your down, or your up and downs, if things have gone left for you instead of going right. I'd like you to know that if you're watching me or even listening to me right now, that we that are living are all privileged, because we have the opportunity to make as many and much plans that we need. And I will always, there is this reference that encourages me, and this reference talked about do not pay attention to old things, to things that had happened. I will do a new thing. And this reference is from Isaiah chapter 43, because that scripture is important to me when life gets tough, or when things become confusing or a bit muddled up. Now, I always make reference back to that scripture because it has a way of bringing me back, to refocus me. And I'll encourage you as well to kind of borrow that same word and apply it to your situation. And hopefully you will find courage in it to carry on. Going back on our topic for today, which is planning a successful year, and how we want this year to happen for us, or how we want this year to end. Well, for me, I definitely want this year to end better than how it ended last year. So I having all this, in place depends on the plan that you make for the year. Now, these plans are strategies you put in place for all the things, that you have in your thoughts, in your mind, the ideas, the dreams. Some people call it dreams, some people say vision, some people say revelation. They are just those ideas, all the things you think about, and you say, this year, I want to accomplish this year, I want to have that. Those are your dreams, and then you make plans towards achieving this. So those plans are like setting goals that you follow to accomplish your dreams or your visions. And I just want to show you how we can do this. Now, for everyone, our plans are different. For me, I have multiple plans. My plans range from personal plans, financial, social, family is part of it, and my personal plans. There are, even in it, I've got my health, lifestyle, my social life, and things like that. And for everyone is going to be different. For example, now, if someone is a student, automatically all the subjects you are learning in your school or your modules will be your goal for this year, because it will be your goal to pass all of them so you can go on to the next level. And that's the way it works. It won't be your only goal, but at least it's a known goal because you are studying. And that is how it works for everyone. Now, it can be a plan for someone to say, well, since I've been working, I've been spending all my money, and somehow I want to save some of it. Now, for that person, it becomes a financial plan. So what they'll be working towards will be how to save some part of their money and not spend all of it. Now, to another person, it could be that they want to start up a business. That's equally a financial plan. For another person, they can have maybe a personal plan, maybe for personal development that links with education, maybe finishing a course they started without quitting, or even starting a new one. So those are plans, and well, I believe by now you have an idea of what I'm talking about. So all these things that we have in our minds, that we want to achieve every year, is what we actually call dreams, vision. So we make plans and then set goals on how to achieve them. Now, let me explain to you of how you can use Jeremy Brunner's theory of learning mathematics, because I believe it's applicable to what we're talking about today, which is planning the year. Right. Now he talks about learning maths using 3 different modes. The first mode is the iconic mode, where he believes that you should represent information using images, what we call photos. The second one is symbolic mode, representing information using words, like spelling it out, and then he believes that once you see an image, that you make a mental memory of it, and then when you see the words, you naturally link the words to the image, thereby to the image that you have studied, thereby making new representative experiences. Now, the third mode is the enactive mode. Enactive with E, not I. And here he talks about manipulation, and that's why you see in schools, you notice that there will be displays, picture charts on the wall for children if you want them to understand or learn some mathematical concepts, and then you provide resources as well for them to manipulate. Likewise, if you're going to make a plan for this year, you could make your representations using words or photos. And then the inactive mode is where you now have to act upon what you have written down, like following through, like doing something. And that's where goal setting comes in, because then we kind of structure these plans and then we set goals that can be long term, short term. We put a date to it. We say in the next 3 months, I want to achieve this. I came across a reference in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 2 that somehow correlates to what Jeremy Brunner, was saying in his theory. And in Habakkuk 2:2, it says, write down your vision for those who read it to act upon it. You see, so it encourages us that once you have an idea, write it down, because if you don't, you might forget it. You might even have it in your heart, and if challenges come, you just let it die off. But somehow, if you put it where you see it all the time, you kind of get motivated to work towards achieving it. And here I only have here photos which I chose myself, but I mean, if you're going to do your own plan, it has to be photos that represent what you actually want. And the first thing you have to do before you put the photos is to actually write what your dreams are, or whatever idea that comes to your mind of what you want to achieve for the year. So you write it. So what you're writing is going to be your ideas, and is like the same thing, but people have used different names for them. Some people say vision, some say revelation, and some say dreams. So once you write it, there, you kind of get photos that will encourage you to work towards that. And in the future, we talk about how you can actually set goals, to achieving them. But I believe, like Habakkuk 2:2 says, once you write this thing, it's for you to read it and to take action. I think creating plans for yourself every year, it helps you stay focused, and it motivates you to achieving something rather than leaving it. If you don't write it down, you might just forget, what you plan to do that year. So if that is all I have for you today, if you have watched to the end of this video, thank you very much for watching. And I'd like to request that you kindly subscribe and share this video. It helps me if you subscribe so that I can continue to create free videos that will help you and other people as well.